Well, hello, hello. Welcome back. It's your girl, Shawn Rae with Boss Talk. So I hope you're doing great out there. I hope you had a fabulous Merry Christmas. And if you celebrate Hanukkah, then I hope you had a happy Hanukkah. And I hope that now you are enjoying an amazing Kwanzaa. So I am so excited once again for my guest tonight because this is someone that I have known since she was about 12 or 13 years old. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Miss Dina Rae. Dina Rae is what the industry would refer to as a powerhouse singer, songwriter, vocal producer, engineer, and DJ. So she's that all-around girl in the music business. She has worked with DJ Ricky Waters. She's worked with Eminem. Just the list goes on and on. And as you meet her tonight and we talk more and more about the things that she has been able to accomplish in the industry in her lifetime, you will be blown away and you will probably know who she is. So without another second of me chatting, I'm going to bring to you now Miss Dina Rae.
Hi.
Hey girl, thank you for joining.
Absolutely. It's so good to see you. You have the best frames on as usual.
Why, thank you, darling. I love these frames. They're so remind me of my childhood. Like I had cat eyes when I was 6. So only then they were pink frosted cat eyes. So
They're
yeah,
so cute.
and I did not want to wear them.
Now
But
it's a choice.
yes, fashion rotates. It comes
That's
back.
right.
So
That's
that's how
right.
it goes. Well, Dina, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I am so excited to have you. So I want to talk about like so much because you've had such an extended career in the music business, and I think that when I think about you starting out in the business when you were 12 or 13 years old and coming up to now, it reminds me of I've created something that I call my triple R formula, and that's resilience, rejuvenation, and reinvention. And I think
Mm,
that to sustain in this business throughout all these years, you've had to have resilience.
absolutely.
And to maintain your sense of self, your mental wellness, and all of that, you have to rejuvenate. And as you were 13 when you started, and now you're a woman of a certain age, you've had to reinvent. So let's start with how you got started in the business. Let's talk about that. Like, what was your opening into the business?
Well, I started dancing at a very young age. It started with ballet and jazz and tap, probably around the age of 4 or 5. And it's something that stuck with me. And I followed this woman, Regina Williams, from our original dance studio, Dupre on 3rd Street, for those of you who know Los Angeles, to her opening her studio on La Brea. And we were in her dance company at the time. We were her babies, and she was our mentor, second mother, and all of the above. So it started with a very extensive dance background. And if you know who Regina Williams is, she had the first dance studio to actually teach a structured hip hop dance class too. So if you've ever taken a hip hop dance class anywhere in the world, Regina Williams did start that trend.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's amazing. And I know Regina, and she is no joke
no joke.
at
She used
all.
to she used to get us together. we
Right, right.
we used to kick a lot of butt in those competitions back then.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
So now you and I share a very special person in our lives, and that's actually how I met you.
Yes,
And that is singer-songwriter Sydney Wayne Davis.
yes,
And
ma'am.
so you are her goddaughter.
I am.
All right. So tell us how did you meet Sydney?
So Sydney was brought into Regina's to be our vocal coach. And so she was my first vocal coach, and her and I just clicked and bonded, and she saw something in me and very much pushed me and molded me and shaped me and did the same thing Regina did with the dance with the voice, you know. And
Got it.
she always instilled confidence in me, you know, and she would always assure me, you know, that this was the correct path, this is where I should be going, I had a gift, and she wanted to make sure I made use of it.
Hmm. And I
Yeah,
love that you said she helped instill confidence in you and helped to
absolutely.
guide you along. Like, some, especially in this business, and when we're kids, we always say, I want to be a teacher, a dancer, a movie star, a cook, a waitress.
Hmm.
We don't know what anything is at that time. But when you
Right.
have a gift and you have a dream, and especially at a young age, and you start working in it, then sometimes you can lose your way and lose the confidence that brought you into it in the first place, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, what I wanted to say was that, I'm sorry, I'm just adjusting my
Yeah, go ahead,
situation over here.
adjust.
Um, I wanted to say that being from LA, you go to school, or you know kids whose parents were in the industry, and they
Hmm.
kind of had like a leg up getting into the business and whatnot. Neither of my parents were in the business. You know, this was something that I kind of found on my own. You know, my mom was trying different things, but of course the dance and the music and the singing clicked with me, so they were very supportive. But you know, it's just, it's hard when you don't have a leg in. You really gotta, you know, be consistent and persistent and hone your craft till you kick that door down.
Yes. So
Yeah.
what would you consider like your big break?
My big break, I think, would be when I accidentally wound up on Eminem's first album.
How do you accidentally wind up on Eminem's album?
Well, woo, the way that
Uh-oh.
happens is, um, you know, I had been singing hooks for a lot of the local rappers in Los Angeles. They would call me to come sing hooks and choruses and whatnot. Um, and I was randomly in Jerry's Deli parking lot picking up food one day by the Beverly Center, and a friend of mine, I guess he was working for Interscope at the time, he was driving this kid around who had just gotten signed to Dr. Dre, supposedly, you know. Anyway, long story short, he said, "Who's that girl?" He said, "That's Dina. She sings all the hooks for the locals. Okay, we'll have her come to the studio tomorrow." I had no idea. No, the world didn't know who he was yet. So the next day I go to the studio. I wind up doing a hook, real simple, whatnot, and it became what was later known as the Slim Shady LP. That's the album it wound up on.
That's the big one.
That was the big one. I had no idea,
Yes.
which is actually that far one over there. That's the first one. Um,
Okay.
but you know, I had no idea. I was just, you know, rolling the dice with every artist I work with. If I liked you or if I was feeling it, I would sing. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't about money back then. It was about, God, I love doing this, you know. I
Mhm.
mean, who would have known, you know?
Absolutely. That
Yeah.
is such a great story. I love how that works.
Yeah. And then
It's
good thing
funny.
he kept coming back around for me, so that was cool,
That's
you know.
good. That good.
Mhm.
That is really good. That means you had integrity and what it takes in the business because, you know, um, I mean, these guys work with different people all the time, but when they find
Sure.
somebody who they can really work well with and who
Yep.
does the job and does it well, then of course they're going to keep pulling you back in. So
Absolutely.
you have a sort of reputation. What was the name that you garnered from this work?
Well, I don't know if there was a method to all the madness, but he always put me on track 13 of the albums. So on 4 albums, including the first D12 album, I was on track 13. So his fans called me the track 13 girl. I mean, I have a name, thank you very much. But yes, I was the track 13 girl. And what's funny is I didn't realize the number 13 was such a thing until I was on tour with him, and my best friend called me, who was in the Brat Pack at Regina's with me, and she was a fellow dancer,
Okay.
best
Okay.
friend of mine, Ronnie. And she said, you forgot that 13 didn't start with him. And I said, what are you talking about? And our first singing group was called 1313 back
Oh,
at
wow.
Regina's. So it was kind of a full circle thing. So it
I
was
love
13 years
that.
later, and now I'm singing the 13s on stage. So,
I
that
love it.
number kind of follows me around. It's been a theme. So I just
Now, what do
embrace
you
it.
think? So, for the audience, what does it mean to be always on track 13?
I mean, that's just the number in the sequence of tracks on the album. That's
On the
all. I was always
I
on the
gotcha.
track number
Okay,
13.
got you. The
And
13 cut.
he always used my laugh. I had like a real distinctive like sound on his records, and it kind of became a thing. So, it was cool in 2002 when he finally let me perform the songs with him on tour, so his fans could put a face to the voice after all those
I
records. So
love that. So, where's
yeah,
some of the places that you toured with him?
we did a full 30 city US tour. So I did a
Wow,
domestic tour with him.
that's awesome.
Arenas, first time out.
Oh
It's
my
pretty
gosh,
pretty
I love
amazing.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, you're a
hmm
native Californian, right?
Yes, born and raised in Los Angeles. This is my hometown.
Okay, because most of us are transplants.
I claim my city. Yes, I'm born and raised here, right here at Cedar Sinai.
I love it. I love it. So,
hmm
okay, so now you're touring with Eminem.
hmm
And what are some of the other things that were happening, immediately after the tour, for instance?
So he was pretty clear with me before the tour. They had just signed 50 Cent at the time. He was like, Dina, I respect you. I love you. I cannot sign you right now. We're signing this kid 50 Cent, but I'm going to put you in front of this audience and you're going to go get your own deal. And his best friend, Proof, now there's a whole story with this, including Sydney. I don't know if you know the story, but Sydney is kind of in this whole triangle. But so his friend, Proof, rest in peace, invited me to stay in Detroit after the tour. He said, you're going to stay here and record your album. And the records I recorded in Detroit, Sydney actually got to Motown. And that's
Wow.
how I got my deal at Motown. But
Okay.
there's a cool
Okay.
little story in there too, because the person that gave Sydney her break with Marvin was McKinley Jackson, his musical director, and his son was Proof, who was
Oh my
Eminem's guy.
goodness.
So yeah, it was a very full circle moment.
I love that.
Yeah. And she had
Absolutely.
met Proof when he was a little boy on the Marvin Gaye tour.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And that was
Pretty
when she
crazy.
first got here. And that's when I went to New York.
Mm-hmm.
I was when she moved. We both were in Ohio. She
Okay.
moved. How do we call it? She moved west. I moved east. Yeah.
I love it. So did you
That
meet
is
Sydney? You met her
in
in Ohio?
Ohio.
In
Yes.
Ohio. Oh
Yes.
wow.
I
Okay.
won't say how because I'm going to save that for when she comes on the show.
Got it. Yeah. Definitely.
But
Definitely.
yes, we go back to my hometown.
Yeah. So
Yes.
so that's how my record got to Motown. The CEO flew me in and signed me on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I started the process of making an album like the old fashioned way, not the 2020
Right.
way. This was 2005 or 6. So we were flying around and we were in the studio and we were mixing records and mastering records and making tons of albums so we could narrow down the favorites.
Now, was this
So
vinyl or CD?
we had all of it. We had CDs. I did have some vinyl pressed up. That was like the last of the vinyl, even though it's
Wow.
making a
Yeah.
comeback now. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I got to do like radio promo run at the time. Akon was just getting hot, so they put me
Oh,
on the run with Akon, which was really cool because I got to meet him before he blew up too. You
yeah.
know,
That's awesome.
so yeah, a lot of artists. I got to work with a lot of artists before
Right.
the world knew who they were. So
Got it.
pretty
Got
interesting. Yeah.
So you were with Motown, you recorded your album, and then
Yes.
where did you go from there?
So my CEO got fired. So everybody got dropped. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Oh
And
no.
I kind of knew the sink was the ship was sinking. Okay. So what I did was I was making my little radio promo runs, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna meet every single DJ I can and remember them, because I'm probably gonna need them in the future. You know what I mean? And these relationships are important. Maybe it's not working out right now the way I want it, but relationships are everything in this business. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so all his artists got dropped pretty much. It was horrible. It was a nightmare. I was in New York. Like, what am I about to do next? I didn't want to come home yet because I just felt like I wasn't done. I was like, oh, there's more to do here. So I actually got a call from a DJ that I met in San Diego. I'm
Okay.
sorry, my dog is playing with her squeak toy.
I said I was thinking that.
These are at home interviews.
That's right.
Anyway, so I got a call from a DJ from San Diego, and he said, hey, Dina, he was like, I can get you booked in Germany. And I said, really? Oh, I'm sorry. The first one was Taiwan. So he took me to Taiwan as my first international date.
I love it.
And I realized that they were super excited to have me overseas. It was the Eminem affiliation. It was the Motown thing. So I was able to book for a while in Taiwan, Germany, France, Switzerland, Italy, Paris. So that's how I got to see some of Europe, doing what I love. That was a blessing. It was great. So I kind of like milked that as much as I could. And then, of course, reality, you get back to New York and you're like, okay, what next? Because I don't have a deal. I don't know what's going to happen. So now, I'm regrouping. You have your mind just so set on something. And the reality is shit doesn't always go down the way you want it to. Mm-hmm. And now it's time. This is where I'm readjusting, adapting, and reinventing. What were your 3 R's?
Resilience. You had to have resilience in order to. You gave me a good one though. Regroup. I like it.
I definitely had to regroup.
Yes. Yes.
I was down. I felt a little bit. I felt beat up a little bit. I felt a little depleted. I had given so much. And I was just like, they took all that momentum from that Eminem run and then just didn't do anything with it. That was a hard pill to swallow, because how many times in a life, do you get to do something like that? So anyway, I'll make this short. I came back home and I took one intro class to Pro Tools, because I said, I'm not going to rely on anybody else to record me. I want to learn how to record myself. So I took one intro class and I got frustrated because I still couldn't record myself. I said, man, this class isn't it. I was like, okay, you have to actually do it. Like, that's the best way to learn. You got to just kind of dive in there. And my
baptism by fire.
Yes. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Dog Pound, but Corrupt the Dog Pound, he, with open arms, let me jump into his computer. He sat me down. He showed me where everything went, do this, do that. And the next thing you know, I'm asking questions. I'm toying with it. I'm figuring out the EQs and the auto tune. And I started geeking out, and I was like, whoa, I was like, this is cool. And the next thing you know, like, they threw me in the water. I'm recording, MC8, Compton's Most Wanted, the Dog Pound, Alcoholics, like, I started recording all these rappers and I'm singing the hooks and I'm like, oh my God, I just opened up like a whole new world, because if I can do this, and this now, I don't have to rely just on this. I just opened up Pandora's box.
Oh, I love that. So hold on one second, because I want to acknowledge one of our members of the audience, my girl Chantel Denise, and she says, hey, Dina Rae, girl, I love you. Let voice, but what she means, because she wrote that in another one, she said, you is a bad mama jamma, and nice. She says that I love your voice.
Oh, thank you, Chantel. I appreciate that.
There's always something with the typing thing that can go wrong. We got the gist of what you said. Absolutely. But I love what you said about now, if you know this, and this, then you don't have to rely just on this.
Yes,
And I
yes.
love that. I love how that served you in the music business. But just for the audience, like that is a principle that we can use to live our lives,
Mm-hmm.
because it equals, I think, to
Yeah,
when one door closes, God opens up another door.
that's right.
And in this case, multiple doors, because now
Yeah.
you are an engineer
Yes.
and you
Mm-hmm.
also do some DJ work, right?
Yeah, yeah. That came a little bit later. Um, so basically, I got comfortable enough with the Pro Tools that I got a phone call from an old friend, and he said, "Dina, you're engineering now. Why don't you come record these kids that Will I Am is signing over here?" So I'm like, "Oh, bingo! Now I can make money, do what I love, and get the
Yes.
experience of more Pro Tools, you know." So that's really the main focus of what I've been doing the last 5 years is I've been working for the Black Eyed Peas and Will I Am and all of their artists. And once
Wow.
the Black Eyed Peas saw me record the kids, they started asking me to record them too, because they know I understand vocals. You know, it's one thing to
Absolutely.
have an engineer that just pushes buttons, but I always got frustrated with that as an artist. I fell in love with the engineers that would actually vocal produce me and say,
Mm,
"Hey Dina, try this. No, 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 no. Try that one breathier. Do 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 do." You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's like I like calling myself, it's like vocal decoration. You know, I'm
Oh,
a
I love
vocal
that. I
decorator.
love
Yes,
that.
I love decorating vocals and I love recording rappers and singers. So that experience at Will's really, really it just honed my craft. And there's still so much there's so much technology out there. I'm still learning so much. Um,
Absolutely.
and then the pandemic hit.
Ooh.
And
Okay.
that's when
Okay.
I started DJing.
And that's the reinvention again.
Again, another one. You know,
I
I
love
mean,
it.
yeah, I can sit in here and cut songs and Pro Tools and engineer and all that, but then I added the DJ stuff in the mix. I had always wanted to for the longest. I had never gotten around to it, and I actually did work at KJLH for a couple years when I came home.
Right next door to your vocal studio.
Yes,
I should say
yes, I was
our
at
vocal studio.
KJLH on a as a personality with Ricky Waters. But he told me back then, he was like, "Girl, you need to DJ. You got the ear, you got the ear." And I didn't get around to it. And then when he saw me DJing during the pandemic, he was like, I told you."
Well, I saw you
But
so many times on Instagram.
oh, you did.
Yes, yes. I'd get in there and get my groove on in the living
That's
room.
right. That's right. No, I'm having fun with it. It's just another thing in
I
the
love it. Well,
pocket.
Chantel says you might have some work coming your way. Chantel says that's awesome, girl. Vocal decorator. I love it, honey. I might need you to do some decorating for us, sister. I love
Bring it
that.
on. Bring on the vocal
Yes, yes.
decorations.
Well, I love how you have taken a talent that you had, because essentially, if we look back at when you were 4 or 5, you started as a
Mm-hmm.
dancer, but that just
Uh-huh.
showed that you were an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how that word artist is so inclusive, because it really
Yes,
means creator.
it is.
I love
It
it.
really is. And I was so tunnel vision about being just an artist and being center stage. Like I was very influenced by Janet Jackson and Madonna, and I
Mhm.
just that was that 80s pop, thing. Pop
Yes,
R&B was my thing. And
because we are a part of a rhythm nation.
I'll tell you, this I think this is an important part of the story that I should talk about. Um, I was so stubborn. I had been approached to sell my songs and this was I think right after I
Mhm.
got dropped from Motown, and I didn't want to let my songs go. I was so like tunnel vision on me singing these songs. I didn't
Mhm.
understand at the time what kind of doors that opened as writer. You know what I
Yes.
mean? I just didn't. It wasn't. And let me tell you, when I got to LA, it was out of necessity that I let my songs go. I needed to survive. I needed to make money at this point. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
So now I'm older and I'm like, okay, hold on. What am I about to do? Because that advance is gone. That's spent. I didn't recoup anything. You know what I mean? So I was damn near forced to sell these records. I wound up actually cutting a lot of these records on her name is Jessica, but she's on tour with the Peas now. But I gave her most of my catalog. But this opened up, the world opened up. And for those people who ask if I still release music on myself, I have, and it's for licensing for film and television. And you can find that stuff on Apple Music. I just did an album with Lauren Evans. We co-wrote it and sang. We both sang on it.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
all of that stuff is in all the reality shows that you watch today. So,
Wow.
so I kind of get to fly under the radar as an artist doing that stuff because
I
my
love
vocals are on
it.
there, you know, and then I get to produce others without the pressure. Because I'm not, you
Right.
know, I'm in a different space right now. I don't need to be front center all the
hmm
time.
Dina, what's the name of the song that you're doing with Lauren that can be found on Apple Music? I want to post that up.
The name of the album is, oh, I'm horrible. Hold on. If you go to Apple Music, this is horrible plug. Hold on. That's
I love
crazy.
it.
I'm sorry. I work on a lot of stuff, so
That's
pardon me.
okay. That's a good thing.
It's and there's Frida.
Frida, this is Mommy's Night.
It's one, I'm sorry, it's one of a million.
One of a million?
The album is one of a million. Yeah.
And what's the song?
There's a bunch of them on there. There's a bunch of them on there. Yeah, it's a whole album. And a lot of these records have been placed already in Love and Hip Hop, Marriage Boot Camp, All American series. There's just it's in a system, so they're used as catalog songs. So.
Okay, good. Well, I put that
Yeah.
there. Well, you said something a bit ago, and you talked about like doing the selling your music out of necessity because you were like out here, right? And you had you had your time in the spotlight and you traveled and you got to do a lot of things, but then here you find yourself like, what is my next move? So what I want to talk about now is the value of coaching, because things might have looked differently had you had a coach.
Sure.
To kind of help you make decisions, help you expand your knowledge of what was available to
or
you.
Or even a manager. I didn't even have a manager.
Yeah.
I was leading by my gut, which, I probably needed someone a little more experienced to make some of the choices and decisions. But absolutely, a coach.
Yeah. Because a coach would have said, you need it. First thing to do is let's get a manager.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I say? And I'm speaking of that because so many people are coaches now. I'm one. My friend Chantel Denise is a coach. There are so many coaches. We just graduated from a coaching academy. And I just want to talk about the value of that. And even as an artist, like I am a transformational performance coach. So I work with people who may be stuck somewhere in the business, stuck somewhere in their spirit, not knowing where they need to go next, not knowing why they're stuck, not understanding what keeps them held back, like the fear and all of those kinds of things. And then my friend Chantel, Chantel Denise is also a coach, and she is a sort of like a spiritual performance coach. Like she helps people move whatever is blocking their spirit that allows them to soar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Chantel, we're gonna have to,
and
have to link up.
Yes, absolutely. Because someone like you who keeps reinventing yourself, heck, you need to be a coach even, helping people understand that when the record company says no, when the door closes on this area of your artistry, that you can reinvent yourself and what you do and how you do it so that you are still relevant in this business. And I just applaud you, my sister, because you came from a 4-year-old dancer, right?
Yeah.
And grew that. And then at 12 and 13, when things started happening for you, you were in the business.
Yeah.
And now here you are, a woman of a certain age, and you're still
Like you can say
relevant
that.
in the business.
Thank you. You
And
you
that's
know, it took having to be open because it was either that or get out the game, really. You know,
got it.
I had to get open. It trust me, it was not easy to get there. I was very stubborn. It
Well, here's a
forced
question
me.
for you. This is Dave 96. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining. Um, you're live on Boss Talk, and your question to Dina was, do you regret letting your own music go?
No, I don't. I always feel like I'm on to the next thing already, you know.
Mhm.
I learned maybe back in the day I would have, but now it's just like you got to let stuff go. You got to. You can't
Yeah,
keep it from the universe. You can't. You got to let it go.
sure, sure. And that
Mhm.
was a learning for you, right? At that point,
Absolutely.
you had a great learning, and that was that you can let things go because that still is a
Mhm.
part of your who you are-ness. That's my word. I make
Mhm.
it up.
Mhm.
But it's all the overall um parts of you and all the things that you've done that have brought you to this space.
Yes.
And I was remiss in not mentioning another one of my girls who is a coach, and that's Gwen. Thank you for joining us, Gwen.
Hi,
Gwen
Gwen.
Gideon is a career and life wellness coach.
Oh,
And all
nice.
of what we're talking about fits into that category too, because when you're, all of this is your overall career, but you have to take care of your life and make certain that your wellness is on point, your spirituality is on
Absolutely.
point, and that you've moved beyond the things that could have held you back. So even as Dave asked that question, I think it's great what you said. Is there no regrets? Was it hard for you? Yes, but you made the decision, and when you made the decision, you were able to say,
Mhm.
"That's it. I let that go." The
Yeah.
music is now out there, and that's
Mhm.
what's most important.
I feel like once you say yes to the universe, things start opening up and falling into place. I was like, no, 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 holding on so tight to what I
Yes.
thought my destiny was supposed to be.
Oh,
And the
you better
minute I
talk.
just said F it and I just let it go, that's when,
The
the
doors
new
opened up.
doors started opening.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. There is something huge about letting it go. I mean, not
Yeah.
to mention Frozen said so, but that song,
That's funny. That's funny.
that
Hey
song that
ho.
I know that Chantel Denise knows inside and out because when that was out in popular melody, her daughter listened to it and sang it all day, every
Yep.
day. So,
Yep.
but it has a lot of meaning actually. On a serious note, it really does because um just imagine had you held on to that music for sentimental reasons, for whatever, for another time, we
Hmm.
would be people wouldn't be enjoying it now,
Right.
and it would just be
It
sitting.
happened. I mean, it
Yeah,
actually happened. I had a couple records they wanted for Rihanna. And I knew I had hit records and I would not let them go. And now I'm kicking myself. I'm like, girl, what were you thinking? Cuz I
yeah.
was stuck. I was stuck in that tunnel vision and stubborn.
What was the block? Was it, no, I'm going to record these? Was it,
Yeah, these are mine. I played them for this other publisher. Like, listen to these hits. I know I got some hits. Listen, he was like, oh yeah. He was like, we're looking for records for Rihanna right now. And I think the guy that walked me in there at the time, him and I were like, nah, nah, these are Dina's records. And looking back, I'm like, dummy, that could have been like another break for you, as far as
sure?
in the publishing world.
Hmm.
So I just had to learn those things, you know. Look, we think we know our plan, what's the old saying? Like, God's laughing at our plans,
Yeah, make
You
plans. If you want to make God laugh, make your plan. Exactly.
exactly. No, it just wasn't happening that way. And I had the
Hmm.
minute I just released, opportunities came.
Ooh, Dina, there's another R.
Release,
Release. Yes.
release,
Release.
regroup.
Regroup. I love it. So we got resilience, rejuvenation, reinvention, regroup, and release. Woo, girl.
Release.
I
Yeah.
got to change it from triple R formula now.
I love it.
I love that. And when you let things go, then you also, it's like you're bound, you're all tightened up, your feet are
Hmm.
shackled, And if you let things go, then your movement starts to happen again. And not only that,
Yeah.
you have a lesson. So the
Yeah.
next ting, 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 I got a song. When you write that song, you can write it for, somebody with someone in mind and
Exactly.
someone else in mind and pitch them. But I believe that it still does not negate the fact that you're still fresh, you're still lovely, vibrant, beautiful, smart. You might sing one of them yourself and it might take off because God just opens the whole world for us to play in. And I
Yeah. And I'm
love
cool.
that.
You know what? At this stage, I'm cool with whatever way it's supposed to go. I've
Yes,
made peace. So as long as I'm in the arena of music, I don't really care. It's all fulfilling to me. The 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 the
absolutely.
the, the business has changed so much. So there's so much we can do. You don't need a
Absolutely.
record label. If I want to release some music, I can release a EP if I want.
Yeah, you do it right now.
You don't need a label. No.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of releasing music, my girl Chantel Denise is on here, and I would love for you, Chantel, even though it is a few days after Christmas, is still the season, the holiday season.
That's right.
And Chantel just released a song, and it's
Ooh.
available on iTunes and um, I think Spotify as well. So
What's
Chantel,
the
why don't you
name?
put that link in there so that the folks
Yay.
can know where they can find your song. I love it. It's called what's it called? One Christmas Every Day, I think, or something
Oh,
like that.
nice. It's a holiday song. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while I'm giving shout outs, I want to give a shout out to whoops, there it is. Well connected everything, well connected entertainment, well connected gear, and well connected water. My
I love
friend
it.
Lucien Jeremiah, it's his water, it's tasty, it actually does taste good, and it's
Cheers
alkaline,
to
it's
the
healthy, it's good for
H2O.
you. Yes, there you go.
H2O,
So
people.
there it is,
H2O.
WC.
Hi, E. What's up, E?
That's how you continue to be fresh.
Yes, you
Love
must
it, love
hydrate.
it. Here's the song. Here it is. It's Christmas
Once a
Every Day.
year.
Okay, I was
Okay.
close. It's called Once a Year,
Nice. I'm going to check that out.
but it's a really great song. It's a beautiful melody, has a great hook, but in addition, the lyrics and the meaning behind the song are really powerful, and I love it. So check her out with that.
Will
So
do.
Dina, you
Yes.
are you are. What's your DJ handle, by the way?
I just go by my name, my Instagram name, which is Dina Rae 13.
Uh-huh. Oh,
I
now I
don't want to do
get
the
it.
whole DJ Dina Rae. No, I'm not doing that. It's just my name. It's the sounds of Dina Rae 13. That's
Got it. I
all.
love that. I love
Yes.
it. And now I
Yes.
understand the 13.
Yes.
Because
Yes. There's
whenever
a
I see you
whole
on,
story behind it.
I was like, what about the 13 is? But
Mhm.
okay,
Mhm.
very cool. So what's your favorite genre of music if you have one?
I mean, I'm definitely a R&B hip hop girl. So
Right.
I
Got
mean that's just kind of where I live. My melodies are, I'm R&B hip hop.
it.
I love
Hmm.
the rap. I love the R&B. I love working with rappers and singers. So I'm
Right.
kind of in that lane.
Got it. I love it. That's
Yes.
a good lane to be in.
Yes.
So now, Dina, we're going to switch it up a little bit. And I
Okay.
know you and I have offline had some great conversations about the dating world and what it looks like to date in Los Angeles. And you're a
Ooh,
native girl.
juicy talk
Juicy talk
dating.
time, y'all. Tune in, scoot, scoot around in your seat and get nice and comfy
Frida, we're not going
because
we're not going
we're
for a
going to
walk
talk
yet.
about
Sorry,
voice.
baby. My
Voice
dog is
men.
looking at
How's
me.
that? How's that? And for all of you boss talkers out there, now Chantel Denise has put the link to her release in the chat. So grab hold to it and purchase it on IG. And let's see here. Wow, thank you. Okay. Oh, Dave has questions. I love it. I do. Wow, thank you. Who is your music inspirations in the industry, in the music world today? Also, what's your opinion of uh opinion on the album Donda.
Who is your music inspiration in the world today? Meaning current, like current artists? I'm
I
gonna
guess so.
say one of my favorites is her.
Oh, yes.
She's amazing.
Beyond,
She
absolutely.
is. And I there's someone else I like because she's just so freaking creative, and I love Doja Cat.
Oh, yes,
She's
absolutely.
so creative, and I love her how she's morphed into what she's doing now. So I'm gonna pick those two females. And
Yes.
my opinion of the Donda album, I'm gonna admit it had to grow on me. But it
Okay.
has grown on me because I hear some of the records now and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get it. It kind of like I didn't get it at first, but you really can't deny some of that production on there. The beats
Hmm.
and yeah, and some of the features on there.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think, what is it that draws you to the particular music that you like? Is it the arrangement? Is it the beat?
Okay, so you got to remember I'm a dancer first. So
Hmm.
it's the beat. If
Yes.
you start getting me going, and then I mean, look, then it's the melody, a hot melody, a catchy melody, is going to grab you. And then, of course, an amazing lyric. I mean, it's kind of like a marriage.
A
But
marriage. Absolutely.
if you have that beat, you can almost just say cat in the hat over it and it's going to work. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Well, look at James
I'm
Brown,
going to, yeah. I
right?
mean, there's a lot of dumbed down music out right now, but the beats are
Yes.
banging. So I'll
Yep.
still roll with it.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And my background, my beginnings was dance as well. And for me, it's
Oh,
the
okay. I
beat.
didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, yeah.
No.
It's the beat and it's the bass line.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that bass
Yeah.
line, like nothing like it. Um, Marie, Mama Marie says, "Great show, ladies. Thank you for joining
Thanks,
us."
Marie. Hi.
And Chantel agrees with you that her is amazing.
Yeah, she is.
I was doing one of my deep dives into YouTube. I'm sure all of you can relate. And one night I was on there way too long and I found something pop up and it was it was her when she was 12, no, 15. She's
Oh,
15
wow.
years old playing a black baby grand
Mm.
and she was on some show and I don't remember whose
Feel
show
like
it
I
was.
vaguely remember that. I
Yeah,
might
and
have
she was
seen
doing
that.
Alicia Keys.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Uh,
yeah. I think I
yes,
did see that. Uh-huh.
yes, and I can't think of
She's
which
something
song it is
else.
in, and it's right in my head. We used to sing it actually. What is it? What is it? Um, okay, now I can't move forward until I get it.
The Her song,
The one that no, the song that her was singing that was Alicia Keys' song.
the cover.
Oh my God,
Sorry.
I know this
I have to
all day
Google it.
long. All right, so if Renee
For your
Brown is watching because we and Renee used to sing it together. Put that in the post that in. I'll come back to it. It'll hit me when we're talking about something else. But now, so we were going to okay. So we talked about your favorite, kinds of music, genre of music. So tell me, we're going back to the dating thing now.
Yes, ma'am.
So with your schedule and all that you do you find time to date in LA?
It's so funny because for so long, my career was just the only focus that I kind of just, I don't know, I was like Neo in the Matrix with the guys. I didn't, you know what I mean? It just wasn't the
Mhm.
priority. People ask me, are you married? Do you have kids? No, it was just always career, career, career. Now, I think because I can work from home and my schedule is a little more flexible and I'm not as
Mhm.
pressed.
Got it.
Yeah, I've been dating, LA can be complicated, you know.
To say
It's
the
always
least.
a guy that came from somewhere that wants to be a producer or an actor or a rapper, and it's like,
So is that what you find is drawn to you?
Yeah, I think so. Like
Mm-hmm.
I try not to date industry because I don't like, mixing that up, but sometimes it happens, you
Mm-hmm.
can't really help it sometimes. But I don't know. It's hard to figure out who's really genuine sometimes,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Uh-huh.
I've had guys use my name to do this or do that, and I've caught them in the act of it, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh God, that's so corny, like no.
uh-huh.
So the authenticity piece is what I'm having trouble with, and I feel like a
Ooh.
lot of guys here are like overcompensate for whatever they feel they're lacking.
Mm-hmm. That word authenticity is
Yes,
something that
ma'am.
I'm always talking about. Chantel, I know you're hearing this because that's her word as well. And it's
Yeah,
such an important word. It really is because it means genuine. It means
yep,
knowing. It actually means you have to know who you are in order to be authentic, or you have to
absolutely.
be authentic in your search for
Yeah.
who you are. And I think that so many people, and particularly in the industry, I gotta say, haven't made that step over into
Well,
that
but if you think about it too, I'm not going to say all men, I'm not a male basher, but I'm going to say some men, it's an ego thing because they got to paint a certain type of picture in their mind to get the girl or to appear a certain way to the girl. You know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
that's where it gets sticky because it's
Sure.
like they're not really being authentic. It's like they want to paint this picture, and it's like, it's okay, boo. You still trying to make it? It's okay.
Right.
You
But
can
you
go
know,
work a
Dina,
regular job too. That's attractive. You don't
oh
have
my
to front.
gosh, this is so good. I'm so glad you said that because, Dina, the
Hmm.
men that I speak to, because I'm an equal opportunity listener.
Yes.
So the men that I speak to say that the women don't want a man who has not made it, who is not killing it in the music game or the
Hmm.
film
Hmm.
game or the
Hmm.
theater game or the not killing the
That's
game.
what the guys are saying.
That's what they're saying. They're saying that women don't want to date a man who
Hmm.
isn't making 6, 7 figures,
Hmm.
who doesn't have the house, the car, the all of that. And I know that, like in our parents, my parents, they grew together. They were 19 and
Yep.
22 when they got married.
Yeah.
They didn't have a nickel, a dime, or a penny, but they came together and they built together.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
guys are
Which makes
saying
it a
that,
little more complicated because we're older doing it.
right. Yes.
Here's my thing. I'll keep it really, really real with you.
Please do.
Match me.
Okay. Okay.
Match me. I don't have a mansion. I live in an apartment, you know, but I got my stuff covered. I have a car, I take care, I'm responsible, my credit is cool, I'm building, so it's like, match me or do better. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be
Absolutely.
working towards something. You can't be on
Yes.
my couch getting high. No, that's not going to
Exactly.
work.
You need to have a dream and some plan and some foundation.
A man with a plan. I
Ooh, a
always
man
say
with a
that.
plan. I
There
like
is
it.
nothing hotter than a man with a plan.
Well, you heard it out there, gentlemen. Miss Dina Rae said there's nothing hotter than a man with a plan. And Chantel Denise vehemently says that's a lie. We need to have a conference and invite these men down. I'm not sure who they roll with.
Right?
100% Shanny Shan. I love it. Absolutely. But see, it's absolutely true. We do need to have that conference. And I think that there needs to be some open dialogue. I do believe that 100% because I do hear it on both ends. And I
Hmm.
know as a woman, I didn't get married until I was quite a woman of a certain age.
Sure.
And at that time, though, I definitely knew who I was and what I wanted. I was holding it down. I wasn't looking for
You
somebody
were
to hold it
ready. You
down.
were ready.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that one other issue is that a lot of the men who are out here are not checking for the women that are in their age range. And
Mm.
especially the Hollywood
Mm.
situation, because men get to date younger and
Right.
be uplifted and, high-fived and all of that. And the women who
Hmm.
date younger are called cougars. Go figure.
Well, I'll date younger, but not that much younger. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
well, and that makes sense because we're not trying to have one of these body by Fisher Mind of Mattel
No,
situations.
no, 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 no. Come here, mommy.
I love it. I love this conversation.
Yes, yes,
And just as
yes.
that part, Dina, you talking truth, girl.
Hat. Wait, hold on.
I love
Let me grab my dog her chew thing so she'll leave me alone. Hold on
it.
one
Okay,
second,
get her her
okay?
toys.
Let me give her her little chew stick. Come here, Frida.
Yes. And so I thank you all for joining us tonight. This is a good, juicy conversation, and I love talking about the dating game as a relationship expert myself. This is a good talk. So Dina Rae is taking care of her, I would say puppy, but that's a great big old dog she got over there. So she is giving him some attention because he wants to join the conversation, I think. So
Here,
if you have
on your
any
blanket. Here.
ideas about uh, dating that you want to share with us, please post them in the chat. And if you have any questions for Miss Dina Rae, we have only a few minutes left. We're going to wrap it up. But any juicy questions out there for Miss Dina Rae? I think we're talking now about dating and also dating in the industry. And, there's a lot of there's always a lot of talk about dating in the industry and about industry
Yeah,
people dating industry people. And a lot of that comes from you meet people on the set and on the
absolutely. Or in the
studio and that kind
studio.
of thing.
In the
Exactly.
studio.
But
Same thing.
here's the thing, y'all. When you meet somebody and you decide they're your somebody and you get together with them and you marry them, then that's the somebody you're supposed to kick it with. Not the
Right.
next time you go into the studio or on the set,
That's
start
right.
kicking it with somebody
That's right.
else and then divorce that person.
I
And I
think
don't
it gets twisted. The
understand.
energy gets
Yeah.
confused.
What? Yeah.
If
Oh,
you
talk
have
about that.
chemistry,
Talk
like
about
if you
that.
have chemistry, if me and a producer have really good chemistry making a song, that can be twisted into sexual like chemistry. It's like, no, we just made a really good song. We're actually not compatible. you know,
At
I
all.
learned that years ago. It's
Yes.
just a song, honey. It's just a
Compatibility
song. He's
does
gonna make another
not.
one with the next girl next week.
Okay. Okay. I got something funny to say. Compatibility does not require marriage.
right, right. It's
Right?
true.
Absolutely. I love that. And it's so true because that's what we read about, of course, often, and you hear people talking about it. They make these connections and they misread them, get caught up
Mm-hmm.
in the feeling and in the
Mm-hmm.
moment. And a
Absolutely.
relationship goes beyond the feeling. It goes beyond the emotion and even the connection because people misconstrue connection for
Yeah.
lifetime whatever or for I need to leave this one to go to this one because if it
And
feels
being artists, we're so emotional, we're so
absolutely.
open and,
Mhm.
maybe a little more sensitive than others.
Yes, absolutely. I got it in my blood, I know.
You know what
Well,
I'm talking
Dina,
about.
what advice? We have just a few more minutes, and so
Okay.
I'd love for you to be able to give some advice to people out there in the industry who might want to get started or something like that. But before we do that, I want to read this because my brother John Steinreich just made a post and he always has some juicy nuggets. So let's see what he has to say.
Okay.
There's serious deficit in healthy masculinity, that has been growing over many decades. Men in our culture are no longer routinely encouraged to be mature and responsible, in part because male role models are few and far between, but also because we were taught by the culture to pursue self rather than
Woo!
spirituality. Brother, you
Oh,
just bam, bam, knocked it out the
jeez.
park.
Wait a minute. I feel like I just went through that. Pursue self rather than
Yes.
spirituality.
Yes.
Disguised as spirituality, but
Hello.
really all about self.
And really, and if I may, disguise pretty well. If I may.
Disguised pretty
John,
well.
you just slammed it, brother. That's so. Ooh, I feel like I should
Thank you, John.
take a
Thank you for
picture of
summing
that
that up.
and make that a poster.
Wow.
Absolutely. Thank you, John.
Ding. Save that. I can
Yes.
see it. Save that.
Yes. Well, so Dina, let's get some advice from you, from our aspiring artists out there
Okay.
aspiring for the music industry, and
Okay.
then we're gonna close out in just a minute.
Okay. I would say my number one piece of advice would be to hone your craft.
Mm.
Because when you get your opportunity, that may be your last opportunity if you're not on point. I can't tell you how many singers, and I'm doing the air quotes, have come to me to please record them. And then we get in here and they don't even know what an octave is.
Wow.
And I'm like, honey, if you don't know, if I'm telling you to sing an octave higher and that doesn't translate to you, you have not done your homework.
Okay.
And you need to go to Miss Sydney Davis YouTube channel and do some of those vocal exercises.
That's for sure.
Yes.
That is for sure.
But hone your craft, because you got to stay ready. You got to stay ready.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to say.
All right. I put it in the chat. Y'all hone your craft,
Yes.
so you're ready for the opportunities coming your way. If you do not, it may be your last opportunity. Your first opportunity could be your last. So get it
cold.
together. Yes. Chantel Denise says, get stuff together. That's rich. Sold.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, Chantel.
And Chantel's been working her thing in the biz for a while too, so she knows.
Nice.
She and her
Yeah, I'm
husband
gonna follow
know.
you too, Chantel. I'm gonna follow you too.
Absolutely. That's what this is about, y'all. Make connections. So Dina, let's tell the people where they can follow you.
Follow my Instagram, Dina Rae 13, DINARAE, the number 13. And you can pretty much find me anywhere on Facebook, Dina Rae, but Dina Rae 13 is my handle for Twitter and Instagram. And I'm going to start doing another weekly DJ night on my live. So I'll keep you guys posted on there on my Instagram.
Oh, love it, love it. Okay.
Yeah, we were doing Thursday nights before, and then I took a little break.
So which night are you going to start doing?
I don't know. I don't know which night yet. I haven't decided.
Okay. All right. Well, to find out which night you can jam with Dina Rae on IG, go to her Instagram at Dina Rae, DINARAE 13, and on Facebook, Dina Rae. Dina, thank you so much. This has been a great time with you.
Thank you, Sean.
I've been having fun, and that's what it's all about. So
you and I always have fun.
Yes, we do. We definitely do. So I just want to thank the audience for participating, for joining us. I want to say to Mr. Dave, who was on with us, thank you so much for asking questions and engaging with us. We love that here at Boss Talk. And please, I will see you here hopefully again next week at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. And that will be in 2022. So walk into 2022 with Boss Talk Live. I love you out there. It's your girl, Shawn Rae, and me and Dina Rae are out. Thank you so much.
Peace.
Bye-bye. Peace.
Bye.